if you like.
Okay, well, we'll wait for others to arrive.
I've just been out emptying my bins, sorry.
Oh, a bit more sport.
Yeah,
Did you win?
it's easier than running.
Did you win?
Yes, yeah. The others are
How do
still on
you
the
score it? How'd you score it? 3 lids and a bin and a refusal or something, yeah?
Ah, no, you see, that was one of the things. It's competitive because they will have a certain number of bins to empty in a day. And the faster you do it, the quicker you can go home. It becomes competitive. There is a reward for it.
Yes. It's called peacetime.
Yeah. Really sad.
Yeah. Horrible job. It is if you know what I put in my bins. Anyway.
I thought you were going to say it's a rubbish job, but there you go.
Is anybody else using an iPad?
Yes.
Well, I've suddenly got 13 people on my iPad. I've only ever had 9 before. And it's suddenly increased now to 13.
Yeah, I've got everybody on.
Yeah. Well, I've only ever been able to get 9 before.
And you've always been in gallery mode, have you?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, there you go. Perhaps you need to hold it up a bit higher.
Yeah.
Below you need.
In the gallery.
Dave the Fish, do you still meet my friend John while you're out fishing?
I do, yes.
Because he's out this morning, I think.
All right, I might see him later on because I usually go about 1
yeah.
o'clock.
He's taking his dog for a sausage sandwich.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, yeah. Donald
the greyhound enjoys his sausage.
That's lovely.
Dave the Fish. I used to have a static van at Chapel St Leonard's, and on the campsite there were 3 lakes, one which was teeming with carp.
Yeah.
And you could start a feeding frenzy, and it'd all be plop, 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 plop. You just dangle your line over it and jump for it.
Yeah.
It's the easiest fishing I've ever done. But once they get caught, they don't half pull, don't they?
They do. Yeah.
Brilliant.
Have you experienced that, Dave, when you've been fishing?
Oh yes, but I'll just quickly mention something about fishing that some of you might remember. Going back before I became a member of this group, you had a day talking about fishing.
Yes,
we did.
And my friend Keith was talking about his friend Jeff falling in and losing his glasses. I don't know if you remember that. And I appeared from behind the bookcase, bookshelf, looking, and I said, "That's true because I was there, and I was the one who pulled him out of water." Yeah. So, and I don't know if any of you remember that.
Yeah,
It was one of the funniest sessions we've ever had. I'm not into fishing at all, but we were howling, we were laughing, I tell you.
What a funny lot of fishing. You know, I mean, you've got to be daft to sit on a bank in this weather for about 4 hours, haven't you?
Definitely.
Now, is fishing a sport?
Yes, it is. If you go sea fishing, if you go fly fishing, and you go coarse fishing, you've got 3 sports there because different skills, different elements. And if you go sea fishing in some of the rough weather, my God, that's a sport and a half, I tell you.
So is catching mice a sport then?
Yeah, if you're a cat.
Shouldn't have started this, sorry.
No. I think I started it.
By the way,
Wish I hadn't.
Paul, you've just reminded me of something saying about catching mice. Lol, where are you? Lol, there's a dead rat quite close to your daughter's house in the street.
What?
Out for it.
Have you picked it up?
I haven't. It's literally, it must be 6 to 8 inches long, this rat. That's just its body.
Is it on the path or in the garden itself?
It's in the gutter.
The gutter. I might nip round.
Yeah. I'm only mentioning it in case there's somewhere about.
They find a dead rat and they think it's a treat.
Yeah. In their Hillsborough homes. Is that?
All the goodwill's gone.
Keith,
And goodwill hunting.
can I add an extra topic to Lol's news of the week, sport of the week, sport or whatever you call it?
Yeah.
He didn't any rugby league
Go on then.
grand final this coming Saturday, and
Yeah.
I watched the St Helens versus Catalans on television, and it was a war. It was an absolute war. St Helens ran out 46 to winners, and you'd think, oh, it was all one-sided. But I tell you, the first half hour was absolutely brutal. I think Saints lost 3 of their hardest players, and I mean 18 stone, 20 stone forwards, you know, just completely pulled apart by the Catalan side. You know, they're so brutal. That's why I wanted to mention it, Lol. Sorry, I didn't want to usurp your news, but I've seen a lot of rugby league. But that's got to be one of the toughest games and one of the most bizarre results.
Is that a sport then, if it's not played in the Corinthian spirit?
Oh, the Corinthians joined in.
So long as there are rules, so long as there's a written code of rules, it's a
Yeah,
sport.
but nobody seemed to know them on that particular. But there was
Yeah, but when the Corinthians played football, when you were allowed to hack your opponent.
That's true.
So
That's
where's
true,
the
Ron.
Corinthian
Yeah,
spirit there?
that was all part of the game. Yeah, you're right.
And then they
Yes,
brought
but-
it to Sheffield, and it, you know, became football.
Deteriorated. Yeah.
But if the Corinthians team conceded a penalty, their goalkeeper stood to one side to allow the opposition to score because it was thought unsportsmanship to have committed the foul in the first place.
Yeah. We've had goalies like that.
It's a bit like the Premier League.
You still have.
The
How long have I
problem
been?
is, John, our
Yeah.
forwards would miss even if the goalkeeper
That's-
stood to one
That's the
side.
Corinthian spirit, Ron. Yeah.
Yeah. Right then, Lol. Continue.
I reckon you may not finish this.
There's this week's yet.
Yeah.
Just heard on the television while we had the little break, we talked about Lewis Hamilton being put forward for a knighthood. Apparently Andy Murray's been on television this morning endorsing that appeal for him to be made a knight.
Oh, is he the Prime Minister then?
It must be Andy Murray.
Oh,
Well, we'll nip on to football finally. The Chesterfield boss, John Pemberton, has left the club by mutual consent, with the team 21st in the National League. The 55-year-old was appointed in February after the sacking of the previous manager, John Sheridan. He then agreed a 12-month contract with the Spireites in September, but they had only won 2 of their 8 league games so far this season under his leadership. And Chairman Mike Goodwin has said he and Pemberton agreed a change at the top would be in the best interest of the club.
So why didn't Mike Goodwin go then? Yeah.
Exactly.
It's never the chairman that goes, is it? Never the chairman.
Did anyone see what? Sorry.
No, carry on.
Did anyone see what happened to them on Saturday?
Yes, I did. Yeah.
Because obviously, with Will Evans being my neighbour and we've all met him,
Yeah.
I follow them, you know, as a sort of secondary interest. If ever a season's going to go wrong, it goes wrong on Saturday, doesn't it? Did you see it? Paul?
They were winning 2-1.
It was
So winning
2-1.
2-1
Yeah.
at 91st
Oh, in the last minute.
In the 91st minute.
They got
Lost.
2 goals in the last minute, didn't they?
Yeah.
I spoke briefly to Will, and he said, we just need a fluke. We need someone to score a goal in off the bottom, you know, that sort of goal. He said we just cannot do anything right. And they're desperate to do well, as he is, and it just is turning into a really difficult year. I'm very sorry John Pemberton's gone. I had a lot of respect for him.
I liked him at Bramall Lane when he was there.
Bobby Firmino at Liverpool would join you in those sentiments, Chris, because he's had weeks with it. How do I get this blooming ball in the net? He hit the post about 3 times before he scored against Leicester. There was some bizarre. I don't know if you saw the game.
Yeah, that's a surprise result, that.
Pardon?
I was surprised at this, the strength of the result, 3-0.
Yeah.
It came as a surprise to me when I saw Liverpool's team.
Yeah. But, they're just, I think they're back in the groove, and I think a lot of this disruption has upset a lot of sides. I think Leicester are out the groove, They were the side in form, but I think they've lost it for a couple of weeks. And I think you're going to see a lot of that this season. One thing that a couple of the players are saying, now they've got these internationals over, they can get some rhythm back, some momentum back, and that's what they're hoping for. So even the players are finding it very disruptive. And I won't tell you what Klopp thinks about playing on a Wednesday and then 12:30 on a Saturday and 5 substitutes, but there are 2 or 3 very highly respected managers who think the association of football has got it totally wrong at the moment. And you see it with VAR and all the rest of it. It's a pantomime. Total pantomime at the moment.
I think they should cancel the Premier Leagues this season and start again. I really do. It's a completely unbiased view, but I just cancel it. Just cancel
Seconded.
it.
I think you're right.
All you need is one. Well, but one win is it? Then you'll be 4th from bottom, or a win and a draw, and you'll be 4th from bottom. I mean, you're not in serious danger as a Wednesday. I think you'll get out of this.
Well,
you'll definitely get out of it.
There's 4 points, I think it is. I may be wrong. Covering the top 10 sides. It's totally bizarre. And Chris is right. It's a bizarre season. We've got it wrong. Start again. This is not football. It's not even a sport. No, there you go. Not even a sport.
You go wrong when what's the name? Lawrenson tips United.
That is death knell, Colin.
Yeah.
Death knell.
Yeah. It's anyway. Let's
we might make ourselves depressed here if we're not careful.
Yeah. Come on, Lol.
Well, just before we carry on, I'm referring back to this Leyton Orient game in 1963.
What, since you found out that programme's valuable?
Talking about fixtures congestion, I'll just read this out to you. Saturday, 13th of April, they played Arsenal 3-3 at home. On the Monday, they played Blackpool away, lost 1-3. On the Tuesday, they played Blackpool at home, 0-0. And on the following Saturday, they played Manchester United away, drawing 1-1. That's 4 games in a week.
Yeah. It was the
No subs in those days.
It was a deep freeze year.
Must have been Easter.
It was.
Must have been Easter.
Yeah.
You always played the same club, didn't you? Home and away on Easter, Monday, Tuesday.
With respect, Lol, you're talking about today finely tuned athletes. They don't need to do much before they pull or strain something. And it's because, and I'm not joking, they are finely tuned. Those days, you go out for a beer after you had a game of football.
Yeah.
That's yes, you do.
I'm afraid Klopp, in a way, is right. In my opinion, in a way, is right. If they're playing in a European Cup match on a Wednesday, then they should be playing on the Saturday, the league match. That should move to the Sunday.
Because of the travelling.
Because of the travelling. But for me, that's the only thing. Saying that they should cancel the whole weekend is a load of
but I think you've got to pace the season. And my point is, you're talking about an expensive product, £100 million players, finely tuned, very much more finely tuned than they used to be. It doesn't take a lot to pull a muscle, strain a muscle, what have you. And you need, and this is what all the top managers say, when you've had play time, you need rest time. And there've been guys at Liverpool who've been disciplined for not taking their rest time because they're damaging their prospects for the following game. That's how it's become such a technical sport nowadays.
Yeah.
Whereas you've got that on the one hand, and you've got authorities who want more money, more revenue, more games.
Ian, Klopp's argument should be with his own chairman, because all the clubs signed up for this. In order to fulfill the contract, they all signed up for this and they knew what they were letting themselves in for. His argument isn't with the FA. His argument should be with his own chairman.
I use the term authorities. I'm talking about, and I include the chairman.
Yeah.
I think anybody who has invested interest, I mean financial interest. You've got the financial interest, you've got the spectator interest, and you've got the footballer's interest, and they're mutually exclusive at the moment. Sport now.
I ain't got much sympathy for Liverpool because they've got a fantastic squad. Use it.
Yeah. Well, it's. I think it's. Every cloud has a silver lining. We're finding, we've lost for the first choice back four, but we're finding ways around it. And that's football. That's any sport. You play what's in front of you with the best you've got available.
Yeah.
And it's the skill and the management to be able to do that and win. And I think Klopp is doing that. He's crying wolf about once too often. But it's interesting that the senior managers are not happy with what's going on at the moment. And it is actually, you're seeing too many players. I'm not talking Liverpool players injured with silly little groin injuries, calf muscle injuries, and what have you. And it's taking them out because they're at that high, fine-tuned.
But it's the same for all 20 teams. It's not as though some of them aren't. All right, some of them have got European games, but it's the same for all the teams in the league. So it's a level playing field.
No,
I might agree with you, Ian.
It's not. It's not
whether it should.
When you're travelling, that takes a lot out of you. What do you call it in Sheffield? Knocks your duck or something. It really takes it out of you. So you need that extra day. It's all this relaxation time.
I'm afraid I haven't time for that. Put them on the line at boards for a few days, then they'll know what hard work is. I'm sorry, I just can't accept that. They're pampered and spoiled, and they don't really know what hard work is.
No,
playing football twice a week never hurt anybody if they're reasonably fit. I just can't accept the arguments.
Well, I
accept there's too many games. I blame FIFA and FA for playing friendly internationals, unnecessary.
Yeah.
But
my point.
Like Klopp, Guardiola, they've had it their own way for too long, and they're having to work at it, and they don't like it.
I take that point. I think that's the adaptability in the game, but I don't think you accept the point that I'm making is when you've got finely tuned athlete and you say they haven't done a day's work in their life. Well, actually, when you see them train, and the hard work they put into it, there's a lot that goes on behind closed doors. So they're at that pitch, they're at that level, and it doesn't take a lot to pull a muscle,
Oh, I agree. And I'm not saying they don't work hard in training, but, if they had to get up at 6 o'clock every morning, go work on that line, 8 till 5 or whatever it is, and then come home in the evening every day, then they would know what it's like. I actually think I've more sympathy for the mental pressure than the physical pressure.
Yeah.
This is making
Right.
me see Wednesday in a new light, because with the 9 injuries we've got, they must be more finely tuned than I thought they were.
You joke, John. You joke, John. But
Ian, I do accept your argument about the fine tuning. They're like athletes, on the track. You think they've always got injuries, these people, but they are finely tuned athletes. So I'm not dissing your argument. I was just having a laugh at our own expense for once.
Yeah, and you're bringing some levity to it, which I'm grateful for. But it's an interesting. I'm enjoying this debate with Darth Vader. You're dead right, Ron. And Shanks did this in the days old. He took them down to the docks and say, "That's who you're playing for. They're the boys that get up at 6 o'clock. Each day they come to the docks, they have to fight for their job. They've got to be picked."
Hang on. Right, hang on. We've got a bigger issue now. What the blinking heck have you got on, Paul?
Why?
It looks odd.
Looked as though you'd got dealy bobbers on.
What?
Say something, Paul.
Very fashionable.
Very nice. Very nice.
Okay.
Obi-Wan.
Does your wife know you're wearing it?
Darth Vader, and then you got one Obi-Wan Kenobi now.
I want to know why I suddenly become Paul the Custard Cream. How did that happen?
You're our favourite.
There's no chocolate in custard cream.
We like pulling you apart and licking you on the inside.
Oh, we're recording.
Stop the recording.
You need to edit yourself.
Stop the recording.
Right, Lol. Continue.
No, Lol.
You won't get through this.
Still here, Lol.
Might finish it. Might get there.
What were you talking about, Lol?
Yeah, right,
Right. A little bit about Wednesday now.
Oh
no.
Oh, Lord.
Just when you think things were bad.
The former Birmingham City first team coach, Craig Gardner, has joined Tony Pulis's coaching staff at Sheffield Wednesday. The 33-year-old, who retired from playing at the end of last season, played under Pulis when he was manager of West Brom, and is the first appointment made by the Owls' new boss. At Sheffield Wednesday, they've confirmed the appointment of Mike Trusson as their new assistant manager.
Good luck.
The 61-year-old Trusson spent 3 years at Bramall Lane in his playing career and has worked with Pulis on a number of occasions, most recently at West Brom, where he was chief scout. They worked together at Gillingham, then Bournemouth when Pulis became manager after Harry Redknapp left, and Trusson became youth team coach there, then first team coach with the Cherries. So any thoughts on that? Where's John gone?
No, you got, when you said
can't take it.
He's just found out that an ex-United player is now at Wednesday.
Another one. They had BT in that lower south.
You got me going when you said playing under Pulis. Sounds like an abscess. Or a boil.
Or duress.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts, John, about the Trusson's appointment as assistant
Don't know
manager?
enough about him. I don't know enough about him. I'll just have to see what time says.
Very ordinary one.
Yes, Dave, the fish.
Oh, Mike Trusson was United's Player of the Year in '82 and '83.
1882?
Yes. Yes, 1982 and 1983.
Was he?
He was United's official
So
player.
we bought him as a player then?
Well, you never know. He's only 61, isn't he?
Ooh, that'll do for me.
Mike Trusson has also scored what many believe was United's greatest ever goal. And
Against?
I can't remember it. I can't remember, but I just
stop making things
Can't be that good.
The memorable goal then, wasn't it?
If it was '82, we were playing against Noddies in 1982.
Yeah, but apparently the strike was something incredible. But
You can't remember
Better than any of Alan Woodward's
just
So
goals.
it's not as good as the one in 1926. Yeah.
But you
A
can't
few
remember at
people-
all.
A few people have mentioned that Mike Trusson scored United's greatest ever goal, but
No, I can't remember that, Keith. I can't remember that. Greatest ever goal was voted Brown.
it was
Brown is the-
voted, but I'm just saying that was taken in a vote. I'm talking about just common chit chat. Mike Trusson's goal. I can't remember where it was, but I'll look into
Anyway,
it.
we'll see. We'll see what he's like. I haven't got a clue what he's like as a coach or assistant manager.
There was a player. There's a player called Sandy Brown, who
Everton.
Everton. Thank you. He was a bit agricultural. He was a good Scot, good solid fullback. Used to come on a lot as the sub. Occasionally started games, but he once, and I can't remember who he scored against, but he launched a shot from the touchline, just inside their half, and it went in. And every time he got the ball in defence,
shoot!
Everybody said, shoot!
He scored a great own goal in the Liverpool derby one year.
He did.
That's right. Yep, I remember that. Yep.
Anyway, Lol, come on, I reckon you can do it, Lol. Come on,
Back to
Lol.
Lol. Come on, Lol. We will get you through this.
It's a marathon, not a sprint. Come on.
It's been announced this morning, I think it was, that Aston Villa fans have been reported for more alleged hate crimes than any other team last season, according to Home Office data. Results seen by the Press Association under Freedom of Information request showed Aston Villa fans were reported 13 times. Wolves, Leeds and Spurs, they were reported 10 times, and Chelsea 9 times. The reports came to the FA policy unit from either the Football Association or anti-discrimination body, Kick It Out. So
I think it's about time firm action was taken, and the top 3 teams in that list should be relegated.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
Villa
should have been relegated last year.
Yeah,
indeed.
Yeah.
Good.
Definitely.
Another Villa story, I don't know if you've seen it, where Jack Grealish has incurred his 4th
driving offence.
Is he?
Oh, it don't count.
In a short space of time.
Yeah.
What do you think of him as a player?
Well, I thought he played quite well for England last time
Didn't
out.
he? Yeah.
He didn't seem to fall down so much.
It's a cheat and a disgrace.
I agree, Chris. I agree, Chris.
Me too.
We don't need players like that in the game.
Do
I don't care how good he is. He's a cheat.
Would you like to develop that argument just for
Not particularly. It's self-evident. Somebody who spends that much time on the grass has got to have something wrong with him.
But he only falls down in certain places.
Yeah.
on his bottom?
Okay. And it's all very calculated, and it's
You're right. You're right.
Very. By the way, he's a very good player.
He is.
And he's very good. He's very, very good at what he does. And I wish he played for United. But you've heard what I said. I'll not repeat myself.
Well, the greatest thing last season was when he missed that penalty at Bramall Lane. Grealish hit the bar.
Yeah.
And he must have fallen down 50 times in that match.
Did you see that missed penalty over the weekend, Lol, where the guy slipped?
Yeah.
And they analysed his technique, which could be summed up in one word, I think. But he came into a too sharp an angle and slipped on the pitch and kicked his own foot, and the ball went over the goal.
Yeah. There was another penalty.
No, he scored.
No, he missed.
No, he missed this one.
There was another
Fulham one.
Fulham. Sorry.
Yeah, there was another penalty that was disallowed. The player who kicked it twice. I don't know which game it was.
Middlesbrough.
Was it?
Yeah.
Warnock's lot, wasn't it?
It was Warnock. And then Norwich won with a penalty. He couldn't make it up. He couldn't make it up. Poor old.
Right, go on, Lol.
Right, finally,
No.
Really?
some good news in a way, announced this morning or last night, that 4,000 fans will be allowed in future games when the lockdown is lifted on the low tier areas. 2,000 fans will be allowed in the tier 2 areas, but none in tier 3.
Right.
Unfortunately, when Sheffield comes out of lockdown, it's been. Hello?
It's up to 4,000. It's not 4,000.
Yeah, up to, yeah.
Up to.
Up to and up to 2 and the other.
Are we talking about stand tiers, or are we talking tier 1, 2, 3 of the country?
It's up to 4,000 or 50% of the capacity, isn't it?
Yeah.
All ends in
Whichever is the lower.
All end in tears.
Yeah.
All end in tears.
But,
So radio,
Mick Lowell's
radio
right. I
Sheffield
don't think there's any chance in Sheffield.
Well, it's been announced on the radio this morning that it's more likely that we're going to come out in tier 3.
Well, we are.
Yeah.
But we're after the top 10 for infections, infection rate, aren't we?
Yeah, but you haven't got 4,000 spectators, so you know.
Oh dear.
And then there's going to be the debate about if you're allowing fans into some grounds. You know, for instance, Brighton can play in front of a crowd, and when United play at home, we can't have a crowd.
Yeah.
Somebody's going to bring that.
Yeah.
That's not a level playing field.
That's correct.
It's
It
not.
never
It
was.
isn't. You're right.
It wasn't at your will either.
Yeah, very good.
Nordic can get good school pitches.
Yeah.
You've
Don't
ever
even
played at
talk about
Wackley Woods?
Concord Park.
Yeah.
Longley Park.
Yeah.
It was the banana pitch.
Yeah.
Wackley Woods. It bent 4 different ways. Wackley Woods top pitch.
Yeah, like Keith said, Longley Park, whichever way you kicked, you were kicking uphill.
Yeah, that's right with that. It was right mud heap in winter.
Can somebody remind me? We listened to somebody presenting at Crystal Peaks about playing football on a pitch that had a wall, and some guy jumped over.
Jumped over. Yeah.
The ball went over the wall. He jumped over and he plummeted several.
That was 19th century football. That it had been. Now then, who did we have? It could have been Mark Metcalf.
Yeah. But the guy.
Yeah, he were talking about sometime in the 1880s, 1890s, I think. He leapt over the wall to collect the ball, and it was a 40-foot drop the other side of the wall. Yeah.
And he didn't even get the ball back.
No.
Useless.
No subs in them days either.
Right then.
Came off the bench and the wall.
Have you made it to the end, lol?
I'm going for a lie down now.
Loneliness of the long distance newsreader.
Right. Anybody got anything else they want to come up with?
Well, I think we should ask Lol to stretch that last item out a bit longer for about 5 minutes, 55 seconds.
Well, perhaps we could have edited highlights of Lol's last 3 matches.
Right. If you want, I've got a quick quiz based on sports commentators.
Go on then.
I'll give you a name and you've got to tell me which sport this person was associated with. Eamon Andrews.
Boxing.
And wrestling.
McDonald Hobley.
McDonald Hobley. Strictly Come Dancing.
Come Dancing.
Yeah. Come Dancing. Yes,
Come
you're
Dancing.
right.
Yeah.
That's not a
Is
sport.
that a sport?
Not sport. Not sport.
It is today.
Not sport.
Mallet.
Oh, cricket.
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 Yeah.
Cricket, yeah. John Arlott, yeah.
Yeah. Tony Green.
Darts.
Darts.
Yeah.
Darts.
Yeah. How about Elton Wellesby?
Elton Wellesby.
Football.
If
Football.
RTV, yeah.
He went to my school.
Did he?
Yeah.
Who said that?
Yeah. He was 2 years below me.
Was he your fag?
Yes. I used to smoke him.
How about Tin Gudgeon?
That was the first fish I caught, Dave the Fish, a gudgeon.
Was it? Oh.
Yeah.
Is that football as well?
I think it's football.
Sort of.
Sort of.
Oh, Wednesday matches.
American football.
Ladies football.
No, it
Football
is football.
results.
Football results. Yes.
Football
correct.
results.
Remember it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Who did he take over from? Anybody remember?
James Alexander Gordon.
No. And I didn't realise this guy was Australian.
Bruce somebody.
Rolf Harris.
No. It was Len Martin.
No.
Never heard of him.
No.
I'll see.
So let's move on then. Peter Bromley.
Horse race.
Racing.
Horse
Yeah.
racing.
Race.
Yeah. Murray Walker.
Motor racing.
Miller one.
F1.
Or Miller one.
Eddie Waring.
Oh,
So nobody knows the answer to that one then.
Dennis.
How about Bill McLaren?
Rugby Union.
Rugby Union, yeah.
Yeah.
An absolute boomer. That's what
How about Dorian Williams? You know.
Joe jumping.
Joe
Jumping.
Yeah.
3 faults. Clear round.
Ted
It's
Lowe.
gone clear. It's gone clear.
Clear
Snooker.
round.
But is it a sport?
I thought it was a bacon slice. Clear round. Sorry.
Ted Lowe.
Snooker.
Yeah. I'll,
Well,
right,
here.
come on. Another one to test you. Hamilton Bland.
Oh, Hamilton, Bland, blimey.
Swimming.
Correct. Who said swimming?
Yes, yeah.
All the biscuit. All the wet biscuit.
Dunkirk.
Local biscuit.
Dan Maskell.
Tennis.
Tennis.
Yeah.
Oh, I say.
Unforced,
Oh, I see.
unforced airs.
Pass.
Unforced airs.
Yeah. Max Robertson.
Yes.
Remember him.
Yeah.
Is it rugby union?
No.
Mike Robertson rugby union.
He might have done, but he was more famous
Athletics.
for tennis.
Yes.
All right.
But I think you're right, Ron. I think he did when Peter West
I'm-
about that time.
Yeah.
One guy who also I think did show jumping, but he did others. Raymond Glendenning.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And
He did
I'll
just
leave
about
you-
everything, didn't
I'll
he?
leave you with
National.
the last one, Kent Walton.
Ken
Wrestling.
Happy
Right,
On
that's
the
Thursday.
it,
Sean Barrack,
chaps.
Sheffield.
Happy
See you
Thursday, Friday.
next, see you next week.
Fabulous.
See you later,
Got
John.
it.
About,
Next week.
Stuart.